Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Continental Club. I'm going to put the camera on in just a moment. I'm waiting to get my comments up here on the page. Once that happens, there we go. I got that now. There we are. Okay. Comments are up. I'm going to wait for just a moment and then I'll put on the camera because we're just at 3 o'clock. Let me go ahead and take this away. Add that. So hi, everyone. Welcome to the Continental Club and Janome Live. I'm Ann Hine, Embroidery Software Specialist for Janome America. And today I'm talking about some app-tastic fun. I'm talking about the Embroidery Link app, which is free and you can use it with your CM17. So it goes on an iPad or an Android tablet. You can also put it on your phone, but it's very small there, but you could do that. And before we get going too far, I want to make sure if you can give me a thumbs up if my sound is working okay, so that I know I don't, because I know last week I had an issue with this on another live. So I just want to make sure that my sound is there. So if you just give me a little thumbs up, I'll know things are working okay on your end and on mine. All right, I'll just wait a second for that. So I am talking about Embroidery Link, and there is oh great, here we got there is a manual for it, like this, the user guide. You can find it in a couple different places. One place is within the app itself, and I'm going to show you where that is. The other is on the Janome Global page, and if you do a search and just put Janome Global, and then it'll say, then click where it says software updates or whatever, it'll open up the product area, and then you can choose the CM17 and the embroidery link. It should be there or under the software apps, and then you'll see it there as well. I think in your quick start guide, you received a list with QR codes. So within that, you should be able to find the manual as well. And it's pretty thick. I don't usually print these things, but I've been traveling a bit to different places, so I like to show it off to show you what's in there and lots of explanations of things. This is a fairly big app. There's a lot involved with it. So I'm going to cover just a little bit of it today, and I've covered other topics on it as well, and you can search the page here for that either by my name or by putting in the embroidery link in the search box. And you always want to use the search that searches the page, not all of Facebook, because all of Facebook is quite broad. All right, so welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the software on my screen here so you can see what it looks like, and we'll go from there. Post your comments as we go along. I do have my comments up. I always try to take a peek to see if I can catch them before we get too far. All right, so here is what my iPad looks like. And I have all my Janome apps all in one place, but we're going to look at the Embroidery Link app today. So I'm just going to click on the E. It is down at the bottom in my tray. I could click from there and open it up. And here we go. So it opens like this, and you can change your default hoop. I have it set right here for my RE46. You have preferences where you can, and you can turn these messages off. I just leave them on because I do a lot of demoing and I like to make sure I show them. You can work in metric or US measurement. And then under help, this is where you're going to find that manual. And you can see at the very top of my page, it is the global page that it's showing up there. And this is the user guide. So you can see what that looks like. And you can download this and then you could print it out as well. You can load it to an e-reader, all those things. So you have that available to you with just a click of the button here. So I'm going to go back to the program. And then where it says designs, when I click there, I'm going to close the window again. You'll see that I'm looking under the tab, My Designs. All these folders are here. Let me make it a little bit smaller using that slider at the bottom. Let me see if there we go. So you can see I have folders there, and I have some loose designs as well, things I've played with. but I can expand all these things on the left side, including my CM17, and we'll get to that. I am connected to my CM17. When I click on my designs, all those folders now are listed on the left side. And then let me close that up. And then samples, there are some sample designs there as well that come prepackaged. And then there's my CM17. So under the CM17, I can see what's on my Ready to Sew screen. And I'm going to select that so you can see. I have a design there. And then I have I have some stuff in my built-in drive. You can see my EMB folder there and all the designs that I have in there. I have, I don't know if I have, yep, I have something in my USB drive 1, and then I have something in my USB drive 2. And then I'm not going to click on it, but the built-in samples opens up all the designs that come with your CM17. So all of those ones that are in the CM17, you can go there. And they take a little bit to load. And since I'm demoing, I don't want to bring those in, but they come in, you get to see all of them. They're just, they're not in their usual, either they're grouped, but they don't have titles with them. So it starts with, I'm not sure which ones it starts with, but you can go down and there's like 1,300 designs, 1,200 designs, something like that, of course. All right, so what we're going to do today is a couple different things. I'm going to click on my Ready to Sew here, but before I go, across the top of the right-hand side, you have some icons. The first one is your machine, and it shows I'm connected right there with my embroidery machine, and I touched that, and my design actually went to my machine. Let me switch back here so you can see. I don't know if you can see my screen of my machine back there. It's kind of hard. Let me see if I turn this way. Yeah, it's hard to see the design, but the design came back over there when I touched it. And what you're seeing when we go back to my iPad, this is the monitor program. So if I wanted to start my machine up, it's going to show me where it's stitching and the colors, and between the colors, it'll stop and tell me to change a color. So I could, like a baby monitor, take my iPad out of my room and still see what's going on. Now, you don't have to have a design that comes from Embroidery Link to have the monitor work. You could have something on your screen and then open up your monitor program, and open up your Embroidery Link program and touch that sewing machine, and it'll go to the monitor program for you. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here and move off of that for just a moment. And I'm going to just go into my designs for a moment. Well, you know what? I can use that Ready to Sew one. So let me do that. I'll just open that up, select it. And then in this window, I can edit this design. Or sometimes, since it already went to my machine, if it was a new design, it would show if I wanted to transfer it right from here, export it from here, or edit it. So I'm going to edit it. And here it is on my screen here. And it comes up in the hoop it's designed for. I can always change that. But starting at the very top, this is the clothesline. These are all the different parts of this design. And you can put your finger on there, pull things down, and change position of them. If I wanted to put that over here, I could. So if I needed to change anything, I could do that. So you can go through here and see all the parts of your design. If there's, and I'm going to undo that. If you wanted to delete something from your design, you have a couple options. You can select it by touching it with your finger. And then when you see it up in the, you can see where it is on your clothesline. And there is a trash can on the right side. You could delete it. So I brought this in for a reason. I wanted to use, I like this design, but, and I'm going to see, let me see if I can go in and change my fabric color, because I think it would be easier. I don't know if this would be, is that easier for you to see this design? No, that's a little bit better. Okay, there we go. And let me go back to the finger. Okay, so I'm going to actually use the outer parts of this design for something I'm working on. embroidery I'm going to do. So what I did to change that fabric is along the bottom, I have some icons. The first one is your selection, it's the finger. And then there's a stitch selector, and then there's the color palette. So when I touch the color palette, I have a choice of thread colors or fabric colors. And when I touch the fabric, that's where I can change my background to any of these colors there. Ooh, that green makes it look very good. I like that. Maybe I'll keep that. And then to go out of that area, I would just touch the finger, the select key, and that would bring me back there. Now the grid is on at this point, and to take the grid off, I can come up here where the magnifier is at the top, and that actually is a slider, so I can move way in and see it zoom in or zoom out. My grid is here, so I can touch my grid and remove my grid. I can also do the pinch method as well. So you have options with that part. It does show on the right-hand side and the bottom the size of my design, so I know what's going on with that part of it. And I'm just going to do some easy changes today. I want to show you one right away. Over when you go across the tools across the bottom, we are going to go into lettering in a moment. The next one after lettering is the array tool. If I wanted to copy this across and down multiple times, I could use the array tool. And then after the array tool would be your hoop selector. And when you get this option up, you'll notice the very first one on the left. This is going to be your hoop selections. When I touch it, it opens up your hoop selections, and I can change those. And the next one is resize to hoop. I'm not going to touch that one just yet. And then the other one is rotate your hoop. So if I needed to rotate my hoop, I could definitely do that as well. And I'm going to go undo and go back. Oops. No, I want to go back to the green because I think that's working out very well. I'm going to keep it in this hoop, but I could easily change it to the SQ28 hoop, and I'm going to show you something in here. Remember I mentioned the icon here next to, on the left side, there's the one with the selection finger, and then there's a hoop next to that. That is resize to hoop. So when I click on that, oh, I hit the wrong one because my fat fingers, here we go. It resized it to the whole size of that hoop. It recalculated my stitches for me and got it all set up. So now I have a large design. And when I go back to the selection finger right here, you'll see my design changed. It's now almost 7 inches tall by 10.8 wide. Okay, so it's really using as much of that hoop as I can. Now I could select all of it, by dragging my finger around like that. And then of course I have these resizing arrows. And if I really wanted to make it, I could make it as big as my hoop like this. If I go outside the hoop, you can see it change color. So I'm going to undo that. But if I wanted to make it bigger, I could stretch it out, and it does increase your stitch count. All right, so which is really nice. I mean, in our machine itself, it does not change the stitch count. It does not recalculate, but here it does. You also have some options along the bottom with your density. If you needed to play with the density, you could. Remember, I mentioned at the beginning, there's so much involved in this app. There's so many areas to play with. So I'm just going to show you some little basic things today that I think will be kind of fun. I'm going to go back to the regular size of this. And I'm going to go back again and see if there it is. It's in the hoop that I want. And we have it back to its regular size. It's 3 inches by 4.8, something like that. I don't want that center part because I'm going to, I actually am going to put an initial in the center there. So I'm just going to select parts of this and come up to the top where I see the trash can on the right-hand side. And I'm going to select it and delete it. Now, even this little outline, I like that little outline. I could leave that in there, or maybe I could select it and I might be able to make it smaller. If I wanted to, I could resize it down and then drag it with my finger let's see, put my finger on there and put it back in the center like that. And that might work for me. I don't want the center of this part, so I'm going to select it. You can see up, it's right here on the clothesline. And if you had your sound up when you're doing, I don't have my sound on for you to hear this, but when you pull these off, they do make a little click noise. So I'm going to delete that. Oops, I'm going to undo that because it had it also had that part with it. Let's see what's going on. There we go. Now it's just that part. I can delete it. And I'm going to delete this little inner part, delete that. So I just have that outer part. And I may put a letter in there. I just have to go down here and touch the text tab. All right, let me make sure there weren't any questions because my things are going by pretty fast. There we go. All right. All right, so I'm in the text tab and I'm going to open it up here so you can see the fonts that are in here. We have 12 different fonts, and we also have a Japanese font over there, or I think it's called something, I can't remember the name of it. And then, so I'm going to pick a font. I think I might want, I'm not really sure. I'm going to try this one, and number 8. And then in the enter text, I'm going to pull up my keyboard and I'm going to put an H on there. And then I'm going to put my keyboard down. The little arrowhead here, I can bring it and put it anywhere I want, like this, in the center there. If I need it bigger, I can use where it says 18.0. I can bring up the slider and I could make it bigger. Now it's like 30% here. If I put there we go. I can continue to make it bigger with the corner tabs, or even a little smaller if I wanted it to fit inside there. So I could do something like that. But I think what I want to do is I do want to take out this center part. I don't want that center part, and I'm going to delete it. What I do want to do is bring my H over to one side a little bit, and then I want to move this side in just a bit from here. So I'm going to just move it across like that. And then I may make just my H bigger. Sometimes if you touch from the clothesline, sometimes it's hard to catch just one part of something. So you can touch it up there. Now I've got 2 things selected. If I deselect the other one by touching it, that will go away. Oh, what did I change to enlarge it to the hoop? Along the bottom, the second one from the right is where your hoops are. And then the second one from the left is where you can resize to hoop. And right now, if I resize this, there, it moved my hoop so that it would go as wide as this hoop. And let me leave it there and see what this makes it. This makes it 5.5, a little under 5.5 by 7. And it'll size it up to whatever hoop you have it in. So you have that option. I'm just going to do an undo. This is probably a little bigger than I wanted. What I'm thinking of doing is I bought some robes for our guests, and I wanted to embroider them with our last initial. So that's why I'm using the H. And I think in text, I've already got it as big as it'll go, but I can use the resize tabs back here and bring that up. Now this one, when I scroll in here, this might be too big because that satin stitch right there might be a little bit too big for me. And let me see there. Let's see if I want to go back. I just want to go back here and go back down. So I might not want it that big. That is quite large. I might bring it down a little bit like that. There we go. And I might want to do something like that. So when I get that ready to go, I have a couple options at this point. When you look at the top of the screen, you have a go back arrow, and you also have a down arrow on the right hand side. So if I'm ready to send it to my machine, if I touch the down arrow, that is to bring in another design. So if I wanted to bring something in to add to this, I could do that, but I don't. So I'm just going to touch off to the side. If I go back to my selection, and let's see, I've got to turn off. There we go. Let me get this selected and I'm good to go. And when I'm ready to go, I can touch the arrow back and I can save this design if I want. And I'm trying to see what's going on with my machine. It's still connected. I'm going to save it right now. And here are the folders that I can save it under. I'm going to put it under and stuff. And I'm going to call it, I don't know, family name. I think I'm going to call it. And done. And then I can hit save. So before I send it to my machine, I've saved it. We can go back and look for it. It is now under and stuff right here. There it is. You can see it right there. If I want to bring it back in, I can bring it back in. So when I go to bring it back in, this is where we have the option at the bottom to edit it some more or send it to the machine. And if I click send to the machine, I get to choose where I want to send it. I can send it to the ready to sew screen, a built-in drive, or a USB drive. So if I send it to the ready to sew screen and I hit send, it's going to ask me, I already have a design over there. Do I want to send this one? And yes, I do. And there it goes. And now that is on my screen over there. And let me see if I can put my camera back on. Maybe you can see the screen of my machine. It's so hard to see because the glare, the lighting in here, and that's a pretty light design on there, but it is over there. I could try to lift you guys up. Let me see if I can bring it closer. It's kind of hard to get the screen of that machine to, oh, you can see a little bit of it there. Okay. So very easily I can go back and forth between my machine and my iPad with my design and really make some fun things. Let's go back in to the app and let me double check for questions. Here we go. We'll just go back a little bit. And I think we're good. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to pick out this design here and I'm going to send it to edit. And there it is. Now, if I make some edits to this, maybe I want to move these around or resize them or whatever. Let me undo that because I didn't have all of them selected. When I'm ready to send this to the machine, it now has the sewing machine showing up in the right-hand corner. I'm going to select that. I could send this to the machine or I could save it to the drive. So I'm going to touch off of that because I'm not ready to send it. If I want to see how it stitches along the bottom of your screen, oh, you didn't know all these things you could. What did you think, Debbie, that the embroidery link could do? I know it's such a magical app. To me, I just love it. So you can see what this is going to look like when it stitches. I'll move it up a little bit so it moves faster. There it goes. And you can choose between the arrow moving or the hoop moving and your foot doing its thing. So you can see all the different ways it moves. And then if I'm done with that, all I have to do is touch the finger over here to change it back to the screen. Now, if I wanted to change some colors of things, I could bring up the thread where I was at the beginning. Oh, so undo is at the top left. There's two little arrows. Let me do undo. There we go. It's undoing a few things that I had done earlier, okay? All right, so if I want to change the color of something, I can I'm going to select a piece of the, hang on one second. Let me come in here first and select a part and then go to my color. And then if I want to change the color of something, I can, you can pick your design colors. You can also come in here, let me see where that is, because you can pick different brands of thread as well. I can get my finger to touch there we go. On the right-hand side, here are the ones that are here. They're like, look how many are in here. So if you use a certain brand, I use Marathon, I could pick Marathon colors here and choose my Marathon on the list here if that's what I wanted to go with. I have Janome up right now, so that would be the one that I'm using. Let's see, I'm going to see about, oops, I don't want to really move that, undo it. So when I want to change the color of something, I can come in here. Let me undo that so you can see what I did. I selected the green up top, and then at the bottom, it's showing the green color and density. I can touch the green box, and it brings up the colors. And if I want to make that turquoise, I can make it turquoise. There you go. So you touch what you want to change, then you touch the color box, and then you make your change. And let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, so a lot of people when we used to have a monitor app, and that was for our 15,000 and our S9, which still works for those machines. But when they brought this out, they combined it in there, and they gave us so much more. If you played with AccuDesign before, much of AccuDesign is in here, so it's all combined in here, which is really, really nice. So that's one of the things I like about this. I can, you know, change my designs. Now, if I don't want to save this, I can just hit discard because I'm not going to save that little design. I might bring in, let me see, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in a little shape here, because what I want to do is, there's a lot of things you can do. I'm just going to bring this little design in. Let me go back because I want to show you this. Across the top on the right-hand side, if you hit the new page, it gives you a create new. So you can open a fresh page, empty, if you want to make something from scratch, like you're using your lettering or bringing something in from your machine. So, or from where you have it saved in the program. So I'm going to change my hoop first because I just really want to use the SQ10, the 20 RE20D. And I'm also going to go back in and change the fabric color. That green was pretty good. Maybe this green would be better. There we go. And then I'm going to go back to the text tab. And I want to bring in a font. I think I want to bring in, I don't know. Let me see. That's where my choice is. Where should I go first? This one here, number 1, I'm going to go with. And I'm going to bring in an H. And I want it to be large, so I'm going to make it large. And then I'm going to, you can mirror image. When I went over here to the left-hand side, if I want to mirror image, I can do all of that. I don't need to mirror image. I'm going to go back here. I'm just going to move it up towards the center. And it's 1 inch, a little over 1 inch high, tiny little bit. I might make it just a little bit bigger. I don't want to go too big like that. Put it in the center. Now I could, if I'd like to add more lettering to this, I'm actually going to go here and change this lettering to a different color. So let me use maybe this turquoise. Well, that's not what I want to do. We'll hold off on that. Let me get my next letter in here. I'm going to type our last name. And then done. There we go. Let's move it. Now to move your letters, you want to use the little marker here. If I needed to curve it, what I would do is along where it says font 30, and then the little, looks like an I, there's my choices. If I needed to curve it, then I could use this right here to curve my design, whichever way I want on those. But I'm just going to go back to this. I just really need it like that. And maybe it needs to be a bit smaller. So I'm going to make it a little smaller to fit in here so we're not outside of there. And then I want to go back into the font and I'm going to choose the H again and done. And I'm going to resize this one up to there. And then I'm going to bring it up here. And then I'm going to make it really bigger, like this. And then I'm going to change the order of the stitching because it's right now, I would stitch Hein first and then the H, but I want Hein on top of there. So I'm going to do that. Now, when I select Hein, if I go back to text, I can actually go in and change the font. There we go. So maybe I want that font. So now I have a little image. That's kind of nice. I do like that little image on there. That might look nice on our robes. We have some guests coming, so maybe that would look nice on our robes on there. I did a little demo on doing this in the Artistic Digitizer software, and here I created it for you guys by just touching with my finger. All right, let me see what else is going on here. I think we're good. All right. So I don't want to get in, there's a lot of other things we can do in the software as far as density and cutting stitches away and all of that, but I want to do a separate lesson on that. So I just think going over the basics really makes the sense for right now. Let me see if I do the down arrow here and I go back to my designs and I go to and stuff. If I bring this in, I'm going to open this up and I'm actually going to move that off to the side because what I want to do is just isolate that H in that design and delete it. And then maybe I want to bring these little designs in. I have to select all of it by drawing around it. And then maybe I could tuck it in here. It might not look good. I'm just kind of playing right at the moment. You know how you do that. All right, let's get this one in the hoop so it's not hanging out. There we go. And then I'm going to bring this one over. So while that one is selected, if I pull down, it will pull all those parts together and I can slide them over. I'm going to slide them over so they go before the H. See if I can get there we go. I think some of them are there. Let's see if I got this again. Where are they? There we go. So it should be, if I undo that, because I want it to move. Oh, I hate when my finger doesn't want to work. Okay, so I want the H and the Hein to stitch after those. So you can either move the whole design or part of it. So now I have that little flower thing in the back. I can select those, make them a little bigger, possibly. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing. Oh, it needs to go in a little bit. Even a little more. There we go. Okay. So I created a little, well, it's not the best design, but I created a little design that I possibly could stitch on part of a robe. It's about 5 inches wide, which these are big robes, so it might look okay, kind of like our family crest or family theme there. And When I'm ready, I can send it right to my machine. I could save it. I could keep editing it. So many things I could do with it. So let me go back to the camera, and I'm checking to see if there's any more comments in here. Everybody's doing pretty good. How many of you are using the Embroidery Link app? Give me some thumbs up if you're using it so I can see how people are doing with it. You really should. You can just go to the Janome Global page, or you can go to the Play Store or the App Store, and you can download it. It's free. It's to be used with your CM17 for wireless transfer, for creating designs, for bringing designs from your machine over, and the thing is with it, it saves to your device. You can save it in your device, or you can export it to your machine and save it in your machine, and then maybe bring it into a computer from there if you want to. Now, if you want to use all your toys, you could send it to your machine. You could have your artistic digitizer open, and then you can access it from there and bring it to your computer and save it with your other designs in your computer. Then you have it to use at any time. You don't have to worry about having your app going. So it looks like we had quite a few people using it. Is there something in the app that you were looking for, or you weren't sure how to do, or did I cover enough things today to get you started? How many people feel they can open the app and they could do something with the app? We have a couple thumbs up for that, or is there something people would like to see? I have a couple more minutes before I have to go today. So let's see, I'm going to go down here and look, see what we have. All right. I think we're doing pretty good. Okay, so very simply, if you wanted to, I'm going to go ahead and save this design because I do like this one, and I'm going to put it under my stuff. I created these folders, and you can create folders. I'm going to call this family. Let's just say family fun. I'll just put it there and save. So these folders that you can see on the left-hand side, those were created by going up to, not the recents, sorry, that's the plus. So you can go into your recents. In the 3-dot menu, you can pick, and there's more things that pop under that 3-dot menu. I could create a new folder in any one inside a folder. Right now it would make it inside the test folder. If I went up here to my designs and hit it, it would be in the design. So I could select it, and I could change the name on it right there. And I'm going to call it Friday. And done. So now here's the Friday one, and I could add things to it. When I touch it, it gives me some other options as well. I could rename it. I could move it to another one of my areas if I wanted to put it over in there. So really, if you go through a bit with the manual or just touch things, don't be afraid, because if you touch a few things, just close the app and restart it. No harm, no foul on that part of it. So you can't really mess too many things up, really. You can't mess too many things up. You do need to make sure that your machine and your iPad or your device are on the same network. Now, what I do normally is I'll turn my machine on, and I'll wait for the little Wi-Fi signal to show up. And then once it shows up, I'll launch my iPad, make sure my iPad is on the internet, and then I will open the app. That seems for me like the best way to go. Sometimes throughout the day, if we have a lot of things connected at our house. I have an IT guy that a retired IT guy that uses a computer quite a bit. So we have a lot of usage in our house. So I do find sometimes my stuff gets knocked off just a little bit. So I have to wait a minute and reconnect everything. Sometimes if you turn things off and turn them back on in that order, machine first, then your iPad, and then you'll find your connection a little bit easier that way. Okay. All right, I'm going to let everybody go. I hope you get playing with this over the weekend. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, or if there's something that you'd like to see in the app that I haven't done. I don't know if there's another app out there, if you've played with this, called AccuSketch. With AccuSketch, you can bring your sketches into Embroidery Link, and then you can add things to it that way. I love playing with all my toys at once. I like going back and forth and bringing all kinds of things in. So for me, I could sit and play all the time. Um, Embroidery Link, you can create when you're offline as well and save it and then come to your machine and use it later. You don't have to be like if I'm on an airplane, I can pull it up and I can bring a design as long as you have designs saved in here. If you can't pull something off the off your machine and when you're traveling, but you can if you have things saved, you can bring them in. You can do lettering, all that kind of stuff. Uh, Oh, okay. Yeah, start with that get that embroidery attachment. Who wants to be on the sewing side, right? We all want to embroider. All right, everyone. I'm going to let you go. And Barbara, thank you. I hope everyone has happy Mother's Day this weekend if you celebrate that. I'm actually someone said, "Are you okay if you travel on Mother's Day?" I'm like, "My kids are all grown. One lives close. He would probably come over, but I'm traveling to an assignment. Some of you, I don't know if you're on this list, but I'm doing a retreat out in at a quilter situation, which should be quite fun this weekend. It starts on Sunday, or actually Monday. So I'll be traveling on Mother's Day. So I will see you again next week. I'm usually on Thursdays, so you can always catch me on a Thursday doing artistic digitizer, and then I like to do at least one video a month on our CM17 because I love this machine. This machine is so much fun. Well, basically, Val, what I said is make sure your machine is on the internet, and in your machine, you go to your set mode and you get your machine on the internet that way. Val, do you have your machine on the internet already? And then you have your iPad on the same internet? All you need to do is turn your machine on, and then once your machine is up and you see the Wi-Fi signal, touch the Embroidery Link app and you should be connected at that point. Okay? Does that make sense, Val? Just give me a little thumbs up. Hopefully that helps. If you have connection issues, let me know. I can, for those in the USA and Canada, we have a tech support number, tech support email for you. If you're outside of our area, I suggest you contact tech support for your country, and they can help you with that part of it. But really, I found everything's on the same internet. Turn my machine on first and wait for it. So you see that Wi-Fi signal, then launch your app. You have much better chance of things connecting up. Oh, hi, Callie. Oh, I can't wait to meet you. I'm very excited to go out on the retreat. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. Have fun with Mother's Day. And anybody who's coming to the retreat next week, I can't wait to meet you, and we'll see you there. Bye for now, everyone, and play with your app. I'm going to be checking. Maybe there'll be a test. Bye for now. It shouldn't, oh, Val, before I go, it shouldn't ask for a code. There's no code for the app. There's only a code for the artistic digitizer software. Val, if you're getting a code, can you screenshot it and post it in the messages so I can see where it's coming from and what's happening with that? And I can help you get connected. All right, everybody, I'm going to go. Keep making comments. I'm going to check back in just a bit. Bye for now.